Ever found yourself in a situation where right and wrong seem to blur into one another, leaving you in a quandary? Welcome to the world of ethics. This is where we wrestle with decisions, where black and white often dissolve into a sea of grey. The choices we make are rarely simple, and that's because ethics, my friends, is a complex beast. It's about deciphering right from wrong when the lines are blurred. To navigate this intricate maze, we turn to the wisdom of one of the greatest thinkers of our time, Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant, a name synonymous with the Enlightenment era, brought forth a unique approach to ethics. Born in the heart of Prussia, Kant was a philosopher who left an indelible mark on the world. His life was a testament to the power of the human mind, as he delved deep into the realms of knowledge, reason, and morality. His most notable contribution, an ethical framework that stands apart in its rationality and deontological structure. Rather than focusing on outcomes, Kant emphasized duty and obligation. He proposed that morality isn't about what we achieve, but about what we ought to do. It's about the intention, the action itself, rather than the end result. This is the crux of Kantian ethics. It's a system of thought that asks us to act not according to personal desires, but according to moral laws dictated by reason. Sounds complex? Fear not. We're about to demystify Kantian ethics for you. At the heart of Kant's ethical framework lie two fundamental concepts: the categorical imperative and the principle of humanity. Picture yourself at a fork in the moral road. One path leads to your personal desires and the outcomes you crave. The other path, less traveled, leads to a universal moral law that you must always follow, regardless of what you personally want. This, my friends, is the categorical imperative, the first pillar of Kantian ethics. It's not about following your heart, or even your head for that matter. It's about following a set of moral rules that apply universally to everyone, everywhere, every time. It's the moral equivalent of saying what goes up must come down. No exceptions, no excuses. It's like a moral GPS that never loses signal. And no, I was just following orders doesn't cut it here, because you're your own moral compass. Now imagine you are at a bustling marketplace. People are not just items on sale or means to achieve your goals. They are ends in themselves, with their own hopes, dreams, and ice cream flavors to choose. This is the principle of humanity, the second pillar of Kantian ethics. It's about treating people as the unique individuals they are, not as mere chess pieces in your grand game of life. It's about giving them the respect and dignity they deserve, because they're not just means to your ends, they're ends in themselves. It's like saying treat others as you'd want to be treated, but with a philosopher's hat on. So in a nutshell, Kantian ethics is about following a universal moral law and treating people as ends in themselves. It's not about what's easy or what's beneficial. It's about what's right. It's about standing up to the moral mirror and liking what you see. In essence, Kant urges us to do what's right because it's right, not because it's beneficial. You might be thinking, sounds great, but how do I use this in my daily life? Well, let's dive into that, shall we? Imagine you're a business owner. You're faced with a decision to either save costs by reducing the quality of your products, or keep the quality high and bear the extra cost. Kantian ethics would guide you to maintain the quality. Why? Because it's your duty to respect the trust your customers place in your products. Cutting corners would be deceiving them, and according to Kant, dishonesty is a no-go. Now, let's hop into personal relationships. Say you're in a disagreement with a friend. It's easy to let emotions run high and say things just to win the argument. But if we apply Kantian ethics, we're reminded to respect the dignity of the other person. Even in conflict, it's our responsibility to communicate honestly and considerately without resorting to manipulation or personal attacks. So, what's the common thread here? Respect, dignity, honesty, and responsibility. These aren't just lofty philosophical ideas, they're the bedrock of Kantian ethics, and they're practical guidelines we can use every day. In every decision we make, Kantian ethics nudges us to consider, are we respecting the rights and dignity of others? Are we being honest, not just with others, but also with ourselves? Are we taking responsibility for our actions and their consequences? So, Kantian ethics isn't just about lofty philosophical concepts, but practical guidelines for making ethical decisions. Remember, it's not about what will make us feel good or what will benefit us the most. It's about what's right. And that's the essence of Kantian ethics in action. So we've journeyed through the labyrinth of Kant's ethical framework, but what's the take-home message? In the grand scheme of things, Kant's ethical framework underscores a radical shift in how we perceive morality. Rather than being swayed by the outcomes of our actions, Kant propels us to focus on the intentions behind them. It's about the why rather than the what. The crux of Kantian ethics is the emphasis on duty and respect for individuals. Duty, as Kant explains, is not about personal gain or advantage, but about doing what is right simply because it is right. It's akin to following a moral compass that points unerringly to the direction of righteousness, regardless of the terrain. Meanwhile, respect for individuals is rooted in Kant's belief in the inherent dignity of every person. It's about treating people as ends in themselves, and not merely as means to an end. It's about recognizing that every individual deserves equal consideration and respect, irrespective of their status or circumstances. In practical terms, Kantian ethics calls upon us to make ethical decisions based on these principles. It urges us to move beyond self-interest and to value the inherent worth of others. It's about standing up for what is right, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. In the end, it's not just about making the right decisions, but making decisions for the right reasons. Now that's what we call Kantian ethics in action. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like and consider following for more.